Good morning. It is Friday, June 16th, 2023. It's the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk,
Commissioner Moore,
here.
Commissioner Rydell,
Here.
Commissioner Hung.
Here.
We have a quorum. Under resolutions, number one, investments.
These are today's investments. Move to approve.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number two, appropriations.
This is today's appropriations. Any questions? If not, I move to approve.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number three, transfers.
These are our fund transfers. I move to approve.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number four, advances and repayments.
Move to approve.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number five, requisitions.
We have 3 pages of requisitions today. This is page 1 of our requisitions. It looks like we're trying to gear up here for an August election. You'll see a lot of money going towards the Board of Elections. We will be getting reimbursed from the state on that. Page 2, please. Okay, on page 2, item number 1183, I had a discussion with our Casey Saunders in regards to that. If Casey would like to explain why there's one amount for $650,000 here.
Absolutely. Good morning, Commissioners. So this purchase, so recently we went ahead and purchased, and help me out if I misspeak here, Karen. We purchased our electric providers. We entered an agreement with the CCAO SC. And so the way the billing works with this provider is they are sending us one large invoice for the county, and so as opposed to individually billing departments. So we're getting one large invoice. We're paying that invoice and then doling out and billing out to the individual departments their share of that electric invoice. So it wasn't the way it was originally set up when we originally set up our purchase orders. But now that we're getting this one lump invoice, we had to adjust our strategy essentially. So.
How do you portion decide which agencies and services get how much of the bill?
So on the invoice, there is a breakdown
okay.
by address. So
Okay.
my team we have a pretty extensive spreadsheet that we're able to track that.
And, Mr. President, and so when you say departments, you mean elected officials and their,
Elected officials, special revenue funds, yes, both within the general fund and outside the general fund.
yeah,
Correct. Yep.
encompassing all.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. We'll get back to that. Any other questions? Page 2 of 3. How about page 3 of 3? Okay, make a motion to approve pages 1, 2, and 3 of the requisitions.
Second,
Any further discussion? Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number six, travel.
Page 1 of 1, and move to approve.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number seven, bills.
This is page 1 of 2. Page 2, please. Move to approve pages 1 and 2 of the bills.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
8, Commissioners may recess an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
It looks like we will be going into executive session today to discuss personnel matters and such, so we will not be voting on personnel yet.
E, public comment on agenda items. I know.
I don't think I got any. Brian, you put down here, was there an item number you wanted to talk about?
I want to talk about the one under the engineers, so there's like 17.
Oh, okay, then just come on up, Brian. Come on up. Yeah, you didn't put on, you just said talk under both, and I thought, well, I was a little behind getting up here. I would have came back and talked to you, so,
I was a little behind getting there.
yeah. Hopefully you weren't cutting down trees from the storm.
I didn't get no bad weather by me. Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive. Item 17 through, I think it's 20-some, it's all the engineers, contracts are going to be awarded. I come up here again to ask, do we have a name of a prevailing wage coordinator for this work? And why I say it is, before the work starts, can we meet with someone to make sure that it's being notifying all the employees and everything that's going on? And I still think that the commissioners have the responsibility under 4115, because you guys are the approving agent, to make sure this is being done. We keep sending, whether it's the laborers or anybody over the engineer's office, and we're being told it's allowed to go by 1099s on prevailing wage work, which is not the case. We are losing tax dollars in this community, and that's what we should be looking for, is tax dollars for our members that live in this community. So I'd ask again, before you award these, can we please get the name of who the prevailing wage coordinator is, who's going to deal with it, who's going to make sure that all the paperwork's in, because it doesn't seem like it's happening. I've come here since the first of the year, and it continually does not happen. Thank you.
I apologize, Brian. I thought we had this resolved. Let's see if we can't set something up next week and.
So do we think that the 1099's okay?
No.
We know it's not,
No,
but
we
it's happening.
No, they actually passed a resolution back in 2015. I'm looking at Karen in regards to that. It was a break, well, you weren't here.
So why are we not enforcing what we're supposed to do on the resolutions?
We're unaware.
I mean, who's the prevailing wage coordinator now for the county? Is it still Karen as the assistant county administrator?
No, this is,
I understand it's under the engineer.
no, go ahead, Karen.
So as far as the 1099, no, we should not be accepting 1099 employees under prevailing wage. The engineer's office handles their prevailing wage coordinator separately as part of the consultant's agreement.
Okay.
I do prevailing wage for the commissioners and the commissioners' departments.
But I would say the contract is being awarded by the commissioners. Under 4115, they are the agency that makes sure that it's supposed to be enforced. You are the awarding agency, not the engineer. He brings everything here for you guys to award. So your obligation is to make sure that it's being paid and it's not being paid correctly. And we're losing tax dollars to this community.
We were unaware of the whole 1099 issue, but the prevailing wage work is the engineer makes that, either they do it or they make it part of their
Okay.
designers and construction managers' contract to do that work, but at the end, it's the contractor, it's the engineer,
No.
and you're
No, it's
probably
not.
right, at some point it lands on our desk.
4115 says that you have to designate a person that does it to make sure that those contractors are supplying you the information, correct?
I
That's
thought
how
the
it
engineer
works.
had designated someone.
That's Sean DePaulo there.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sean DeFallo with the Engineer's Office. So, of the items on the agenda today, number 17 is the only construction project, I believe, that we were awarding. We're adding some contracts, other things.
The chip and seal and
The
all
chip
that?
and seal is the only contract we would be awarding for a contractor.
Okay.
I will be the person that takes
Okay.
care of the prevailing wage on that project. If you
Okay.
have questions throughout,
Okay.
please contact me.
Okay, thank you. It just seems like as we go through it, there's a whole process you have to follow, notifying the employees and everything. I mean, if you go out, not too far from your house, Erie Blacktop's doing a job right by Mill Hollow. There's a board out there that puts everything on it, tells prevailing wages and everything for all employees to know. That's what we should be doing, being done here, so that we collect all our tax dollars. When I talk about transparency, that's transparency. Thank you.
Okay.
But, and you're welcome to share your concerns other than in the meeting. I mean, we're here during the week. If you discover something on a Wednesday, let us know.
Are you on the list for, are you on the email list to receive the agenda 24 hours prior?
It's easy to get it. You can go right online. I don't need to be on the, I know how to get it.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you, though.
No, but thanks for coming up and engaging in regards to what was on our agenda today. I appreciate it. Anyone, oh, I think that was the only one. I don't know if Chuck wanted to talk now or at the end.
I'd like to talk, if you let me, please.
No, I'm just asking because you had on here, it was, you got response.
It's not an agenda item, but,
Well, no,
I don't have time to wait for your executive.
No, we're gonna be talking before executive allowance, so. I just thought since it was probably similar to what Brian was speaking about, I
Well,
thought,
it is similar, and
That's
thank
why.
you. Chuck Brookie, Laborers Union, Lorain County. I've just got a couple, is responsible development practices. We have some issues going on in the county right now. And, just,
what is it? No, that's okay, but I'm just saying, is it in regards to what we're talking about just now on the agenda?
oh, yeah, that's.
Okay, that's fine.
It'll get there.
Okay.
Just give me 2 minutes and I'll be out of here.
Thank you, Mr. Brookie.
Now, responsible development practices, if you open it up and go to wage theft. Wage theft is happening right now in Lorain. This happens when we get a Davis-Bacon project, a prevailing wage project, and we have contractors show up and are being paid cash. No way to follow it. No way to track to make sure they're being paid prevailing wage, and it's not being enforced. So if you do a little bit of math on a $6 million project, the city of Lorain is losing probably about $45,000 in tax revenue. Just the pictures of the job going on in regards to how we're losing money. Now, these people on that job, we know they don't pay taxes. We know that.
How so?
All they pay is property taxes. Are they paying Lorain County taxes? Those people are being paid cash, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
They're being paid cash. They're here taking our taxpayers' money, our members' money, our Lorain County citizens' jobs, and it's going on. There's state and federal money on that job. We passed a levy. We, as Lorain County, passed a levy for that project, and we can't work on it. That is wrong.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
What project is this?
Pardon me?
What
project?
That is a pipe yard project in Lorain right now going on.
Oh, that's a city project?
No,
Pipe
it's a
yard.
Davis-Bacon. It's, goes under the school board and Lorain City, and it has state and federal money on it.
Okay.
Davis-Bacon project.
Okay, thank you.
And there should be minorities, there should be
Yeah.
women, and we have this.
Okay. You want to come back up at the end too?
I don't have time to wait on you guys. But thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. Any old business?
No business. Board business. Number 9, approve and waive the reading of the County Commissioner meeting minutes of June 13th.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Under Job and Family Services, 10, approve and enter in a 4D purchase of service contract between Lorain County Child Support Enforcement Agency, CSEA, and Lorain County Sheriff, effective retroactive to April 23rd, 2023 through December 30th, 2023, and shall not exceed the amount of $139,402.01 to be paid from the contractual purchase services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Number 11, authorize the designee on behalf of Lorain County Commissioners for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, following the Fiscal Administrative Procedures Manual, Chapter 6, 5101-99-6982, Inter-County Adjustment of Allocations. Commissioners designate Barbara Tamas, Director of Job and Family Services, to release and accept funds for the period of July 1st to 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and will be paid from the federal grants account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Sanitary Engineer, 12, advertise bids for the Crest Haven wastewater treatment plant, aeration tank, and clarifier lining project in Elyria Township. Notice to be in the Chronicle on July 7th and 14th and open at 2 p.m. on July 27th. Work consists of cleaning and applying the tank liner on the aeration tanks and final clarifiers on the Crest Haven Homes wastewater treatment plant. Crest Haven Homes wastewater treatment plant provides sanitary treatment for up to 100,000 GPD for 186 single-family homes. Sanitary engineer construction cost estimate for the project is $348,260, and the funding will be available from the sanitary capital improvement account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Under adult probation, 13, approve a grant agreement in the amount of $5,877,588 with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, Division of Parole and Community Services, Bureau of Community Sanctions, Community Corrections grant. These funds will allow Lorain County Adult Probation Department to work in conjunction and will help in reducing and diverting the number of persons committed to state penal institutions and are committed to local corrections agencies, servicing F5 offenders with a new addition of F4 offenders under community control, and operating full community control supervision services for individuals under community control within its jurisdiction and will end June 30th of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Sherry Clauser, Court Administrator for Lorain County Common Pleas Court General Division. I wanted to introduce you to Joellen Mitchell. She is our Director of Probation Services. She is the mastermind behind these grants today, and she just wanted to go over the information of everything it'll be covering.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's
Good
nice to
morning.
meet you.
Morning.
With the approval of this grant agreement with our department and the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, I just wanted to highlight that this will assist in funding our department as far as our personnel, some recent drug testing that we're talking about as far as increase in that cost, the treatment for our offenders, pretty much across the board. It also encompasses TCAP money that will assist with the county jail and reduction of the institution, the inmates that we send there. It's pretty much all-encompassing. This grant also, not only it's all-encompassing of CCA funds, PSG funds, and TCAP funds.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
And just as a side note, these grants account for about 50% of our total budget. And by obtaining these grants, it diverts it from coming from the general fund, from the county. So just to highlight that. And since I'm up here, I just wanted to also acknowledge Joellen and her department. They had their audit this year, and they are up for the Cliff Skeen Award, which is the highest award from the state of Ohio for excellence in auditing. And we recently had PJ Newbert, who was awarded the Line Officer of the Year award for the state.
Yeah, congrats.
So she has been there about a year and a half, and she is rocking it.
Wow. Rock star.
We also know it's because I have a great teacher.
There you
so-
go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Children's Services, 14, enter in a sub-grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Ohio Department of Medicaid, and Commissioners on behalf of Children's Services to establish the terms, conditions, and requirements governing the administration use of financial assistance received by or used by Children's Services effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Under Common Pleas, 15, approve a grant agreement in the amount of $146,200 with the Ohio Supreme Court Technology Grant. These funds will assist Lorain County Common Pleas Court to upgrade its case management system, and this will be paid from the court special project purchase services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Hey, do you know, have they settled their issues with this system over there between the clerk of courts and the judges? Are you aware of? Not yet? Okay. Sherry, do you have a comment on this or not? I hate to put you on the spot. Because I mean, this is great that we're getting grant money, but it's also, I think we're in the middle of a battle and I didn't want to.
I don't know if I call it a battle. I think we're working collectively.
Oh, good, okay.
And Lee is being a moderator with us. We're
Oh.
at a point where we're working on a
Very good.
memorandum of understanding between the three.
Okay.
And I think it's progressing.
We've had open discussions
Right.
about a lot of this. None of
Yes.
that, I haven't seen any animosity taking place.
Oh,
It's because
fantastic.
we see information technology.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Oh, they really
Right. And I think we all have the ultimate goal that we want this to work.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
we,
So-
between Emily Kirsch, Kate Lenz, myself, Lee, and then the elected officials, I believe we're working together.
Well, that's more the fantastic news than the grant money, so.
Anything else?
Nope, thank you for
Okay, thank you.
helping out.
Mr. President.
Oh.
This absolutely true. We are working together. We're collaboratively pulling this together as administration and the court system and probation. So there's a lot of good synergy going on, and we appreciate everyone's effort on all ends.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Under Health District Number 16, establish and appoint a suicide fatality review board, and Lorain County Health District will administer this program in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 307.641. In 2020, suicide was the 12th leading cause of death in the United States, and in Lorain County, it has increased by 23% since 2015, and the following positions are appointed: Health Commissioner and or designee, County Commissioner and or designee, County Sheriff and or designee, County Coroner and or designee, Executive Director of the MARS and or designee, and a physician under Chapter 4731 practicing medicine, surgery, or orthopedic medicine surgery.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
I see Dr. Adams is here, so.
Commissioners,
Good
first,
morning.
apologies, good morning, that I haven't had a chance to be here in a while. This is, thank you for considering this. A while back, when we published the community health assessment, and I'm glad the statistics are there so that, and that you read them, and I appreciate that, because I wanted everybody to hear that as well as see it. This board has made, the other thing I want other people to hear out there is, that this board has made since that time, that community health assessment. You've always been very assistive in helping us trying to combat this piece and combat the infant mortality and everything else. And in this one, we have our child fatality review board, and that what these boards are aimed at, looking at not just the number. So we have our fetal infant mortality review. We have, but with suicides, you look at just the number, and it's always kind of a guess as how we got to the point where a person did what they did. And this allows us to go and look at the piece of what was happening prior to that. So that way you could say, no, is it employment? Is it relationship? Is it money? But actually know it, not just kind of guess. Because usually if a note's not left, you're left with a guess as to why. And then to be able to look at this forensically and then come up with solutions, being able to say that maybe if we put resources in this or resources in that. And you'll see a lot for an example, with the child fatality review, if you're looking at car accidents, then we look at, okay, do we get more education out into the schools about the car accident piece and about not driving fast? And that's when they take the cars that are in an accident and they take them to the schools and work there. And that all comes out of that child fatality review piece. Same thing with suicide fatality review. It's going to be able to give us the ability to look forensically at those suicides and to be able to try to come up with ways as a team, as a group, to be able to get information out there and to combat it, to try to get that number down. It has steadily increased over the last 10 years. We're at the last 2 years. That was that study year between 2016 and 2020, because we did the data gathering in 21-22. But so it has not gone down. It's plateaued for a little bit, but we still have an increase, many more than what we had. It was 10 years ago, and that trend is continuing on. Our rate is higher than the state of Ohio's in this county, and So it's been trying to go to city council meetings as well to let them know about the same thing. And, just to try to look at how do we combat it and each of those things that have been listed in the community health, or in our community health assessment. So I do appreciate the consideration for looking at this today.
So are you going to, because we're going to have to appoint people to each one of these positions,
Yes, sir.
correct? Now, you're saying county commissioners, do you want all three?
Just one, sir, or all three? It's one of those things where if you wanted all three people to be on it, if you wanted to see forensically what's happening in the background, we've had where multiple people have decided to come and look at it, and just to see what is kind of going on, and then if one of you just wanted to pick who it was going to be that was going to serve on it. But even if you selected all three to serve on it, more people looking at what's happening is more eyes looking at it, is more ideas on it.
We have health commissioners with an S, so I didn't know if you were referring, because what?
Probably shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have had that?
Oh.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to wonder, what
I
kind of.
take all three of you.
No, what I'm asking is,
We had 3 health commissioners at one time from the other, so that's why
really?
I probably had it. So
I just want to make sure, because we're going to have to have another meeting to appoint the board members,
Yes, sir.
and so that's why I didn't know. If you wanted us to do that now, we could do that today, where we just appoint, or we could do it at the next meeting.
You could absolutely appoint all the people that you have listed there. They also serve on the child fatality review and the fetal infant mortality review. And that was one where the fetal infant mortality review is it's not set up in the statute like the suicide and the child fatality review. They've taken on that extra, during the CFR meetings that we have twice a year, they've taken on the extra load of the fetal infant mortality as well. So if you were to appoint those same members, we've talked with most of them to be able to serve, we'd actually have those meetings at the same time. We would do the CFR, the FEMR, and then do the suicide fatality review. MARS is, of course, an excellent addition to that. We definitely, this is one we definitely need them on. They've served very well with the other committees as well.
I see you have the positions, the 6, they're listed by position instead of name. Is that in the statute as well?
Just the positions would be listed instead of those individual names. So it is those positions that are listed, and really you get to, the statute itself says that you put this together. So it's, you authorize it, and that you say that the health commissioner is going to run that piece. But I also prefer your involvement as to who you'd like to have on that as well. So you have the key players that are on there, and if there's another person or anybody else or another entity that the commissioners would feel, hey, I really think this person or entity would be beneficial to that, I would absolutely welcome that input, and let's put them on.
So this is more of so it says review board, so it's not that you're making decisions, you're not making budget recommendations.
No, sir, and there's no money that gets spent with this.
Okay.
So it's,
So this is a growing, working, we could actually add 4 or 5 more if we wanted to.
yes, sir.
Okay.
That's what I was getting at. Are the positions established by statute, or this is the recommendation of the health department, and this is how we should build this?
I think those are the minimum positions, and then others can be added to it as well.
Can you explain the surgeon?
So somebody that, for the surgeon piece, somebody that would be either an MD or have any other type of just medical background. So the surgeon piece is also a mainstay of just the makeup of a health department, just the general health practice. But it could be a doctor, any MD, anybody that's working specifically with, instead of it being a surgeon.
I was just trying to find the relation between suicide and the doctor.
There was none specifically. I think that we're just looking for the doctor piece that's involved in that.
Okay. And you mentioned 3 boards. They do 3 tasks, or are there 3 individual boards?
Right now, there's one board, so there's the CFR board, the Child Fatality Review Board. That entity then also takes on the fetal infant mortality review cases. So that's not a separate board. We have a separate presentation that comes in to go over the fetal infant mortality. But this would be a separate board, or it can also be the same board members serving on that board. So if the commissioners wanted other individuals on the suicide review board, and they weren't on the CFR board, we would just have them come later in the meeting. So we would have them, or if you had if there was because we've made this to where it's expanded as well, and we've invited many other people in on the child fatality review. There's a security measure, you have to go through some PHI so that you're not, it's because it's personal health information that gets reviewed. So we put them through that security thing, but we're looking at all approaches and multiple individuals to be on it to give us a good idea of, okay, what do you see in this case that maybe we haven't seen that we could use to prevent it? So even if they weren't a member of the CFR board, but yet you named them and you said, no, what about this person? We could look at that and go, well, actually, they should be on the CFR board and just make it, even though they'd be two separate boards that you've defined, almost all of them would be the same individuals and then just serving on both boards. Which I see, they would be two separate boards, though. Or I guess committees.
Okay. Okay, any other questions?
Trying to get people to participate. There's a lot of things going on, and I'm just trying to factor in that can we do 3 things with the same board
We can.
so that we don't make the same people meet 3 times?
We absolutely can. Because that's the way it's working with the CFR and the FEMR piece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, before we go any other discussions, the way it's set up, I believe it says county commissioners, so it'll be all 3 of us. Unless you guys feel that it should just be one. Other than that, I'm fine with all 3.
Okay.
Anybody? Oh, okay.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Under the engineer, 17, award and enter a contract with Henry W. Bergman, Inc., Genova, Ohio, in the amount of $1,128,581 for the 23 countywide chip and seal project in Lorain County. 3 bids were received on May 24th, this being the most responsive complying with specifications. Work consists of performing chip and seal pavement treatment to approximately 55 miles of county, township, and village roads throughout the county, and this be completed by September 15th. Notice to proceed will be issued upon full execution of the contract authorizing work to begin upon authorization from Lorain County Engineers Office. Authorize administrator to notify the auditor to release retainage at completion of the project, and this will be paid from the engineer project account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 18, authorize county engineer to enter an LPA federal local let project agreement with ODOT for Lake Avenue resurfacing project in Elyria Township. Estimated cost of the project is $395,750, and federal funding will be made available at 80% in state fiscal year 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
19, authorize county engineer to enter an LPA federal local let project agreement with ODOT for the Butternut Ridge Roads resurfacing project in Carlisle Township. Estimated cost of the project is $820,855, and federal funding will be made available at 80% in state fiscal year 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
20, receive and journalize the county engineer's annual report on the condition of ditches under county maintenance fund for the year 2023, and authorize county auditor to assess for maintenance as recommended by the county engineer for the year 23, tax lien 24, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 6137.03.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Number 21, approve and enter in a contract with Laneham Engineering LLC in the amount of $114,655 to perform the plans and specifications for the replacement and upgrade of the existing traffic signal at the intersection North Ridge Road and Elyria Avenue in Elyria and Sheffield Townships. $78,801 will be funded by ODOT, and balance will be paid from the engineer projects account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
22, approve and enter a subdivider agreement with FLG Eaton Crossing LLC, Eaton Township, from Eaton Crossing Subdivision Number 2. Subdivision has been submitted, subdivider has submitted all documentation and engineer has approved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
23, approve and enter a subdivider agreement with Johnston Development LLC for Pheasant Run Village Phase 4 subdivision, LaGrange Township. Subdivider has submitted all documentation and engineer has approved.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes.
Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
Under the Sheriff, 24, approve superseding agreement with Mars in the amount of $232,224.67 for the purpose of providing funding for medication-assisted treatment for eligible jail inmates, effective retroactive to October 1st of 2022 through September 29th of 2023. This will provide state opiate and stimulant response grant funding to ensure testing, laboratory services, medications, transportation, counseling, and coordination of care for eligible, it should be inmates. I don't know what happened to that.
For eligible inmates. Make sure it's in there. So moved.
Second. Yeah,
Discussion.
it's in the resolution.
It is, but I.
Sheriff, would you want to say anything, or you guys?
Yeah, could you give us the executive bullet point on the reason for the increase? Just for the public consumption.
Good morning, Andy Lobenthal, Project Specialist with the Lorain County Sheriff's Office in the jail. We're here, this is actually the third time this MAT agreement, medicated assisted treatment for substance abuse, use dependency, has come across the board. The first was an agreement in December that did not contain the full amount. The Mars board did not have the full amount of funding from the federal grant at that point in time. So the first agreement that came across was a partial. The second agreement in April was the full amount for $132,000, and this agreement is an additional $100,000 that we're so thankful for the Mars board for being responsive to the increase that we've seen in the number of inmates in the facility coming in on on medicated assisted treatment and allowing us to start those people who are in need of treatment and choose to participate on the treatment. And the Mars board, at the direction of Executive Director Dowd, and in particular Amanda Divis and Peggy Barron, did a great job. They polled the other recipients of the grant money and saw who was not using all of their funding and asked them to resend, and so they collected some and then gave us the additional $100,000. So it helps for everything. There's a lot of hours involved. There's a lot of prep work. There's laboratory services. There's counseling services. There's follow-up. There's just everything. And the numbers are increasing in the community and in the jail. The jail is a reflection of that.
Well done.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you,
job.
Commissioners.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
E, public comment.
Brian?
Thank you again, Commissioners. I'm just looking for a clarification. So when you walk an item on the agenda, which you guys did on Tuesday night, I think, don't you have to open that up to have public comment for that, because the public speaking's already been done, and it's done under the administrator's report. And why I ask is, because that resolution was only approved for the 500 and some thousand, I don't think that it was included in the 32,000 matching. So that would have been something the public could have came up and asked. So I think under the Sunshine Law, if you walk something on, you have to open that up to have public comment on it, okay? The other piece I'd ask is, what agency does that one fall under for the, like, who enforces the prevailing wage at the airport? Is that the airport board? Is that the county? Because what we keep hearing is in-house and out-of-house, okay? All I'm looking to do is, do we have a list of who's in-house? Do we have a list who's out-of-house to make sure that it's being done? And also, I would say to the engineer's office, we have like a year to get all those jobs in order. By next year, we should know exactly what's going on, and you should be able to name a prevailing wage coordinator on every one of those jobs when it comes here for approval from these commissioners. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Chuck, did you want to come back up, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, you're always good, right? Okay. There we go. County Administrator, do you have an update for us today?
Yes, Mr. President.
Karen and I, this past Wednesday, went to the Federal Aviation Administration in Detroit to meet and greet. It was much more than a meet and greet. It was like 2.5 hours of discussions with regards to not only our airports, but ODOT Aviation was there. And we found out from them, as well as the FAA, that they're conducting a capacity study throughout the whole state of Ohio that is taking place right now, and whether there's more capacity needed or less capacity needed in a study of the airport because of the federal grants that are coming out to support airports within the state of Ohio. I'm sure that this is happening in other states, but through that conversation, we're going to be, and in the process, and I think Karen has already sent it, a master plan update. We will be doing a master plan on our airport as to what the needs are. Do we need the additional property? Can we offload other properties that are not airport, there's going to be no expansion on them at all? So that discussion, it went very well. There was everybody from Chicago, Washington, D.C., as well as the whole state of Ohio at this meeting. It was much larger than I anticipated on a meet and greet for the county administrator. Originally, it was supposed to be the two of us and the two administrators there, and it ended up to be almost the entire nation, or at least the FAA that handles Lorain County Airport. So we must be important to somebody, or our questions were important. How's that? Also, we were informed this week by the workforce development. It's something that, not just this week, we finally got a definition of it. Workforce development received a grant, or not a grant. They've received additional funding to do business review and expansion. These dollars can be used for individuals to be hired. It is only a 12-month amount of money. It's $212, $416.44 to be used. The way the grant was written, there's going to have to be some MOUs because one community development, one Lorain, which is the county upstairs, it can be, an MOU will be written to spend the funds so that we can do business review and expansion. And actually, these dollars will help us down in community development to use the county system in order to, as well as the Ohio workforce, to help the database, help individuals, companies in Ohio expand and retain their employers to grow. So that helps the system work. But it is only a $212,000 to be spent for this year through next year of the $212,000. We continue to work with the county engineer's office as well as all of the FPAs, the facilities planning areas when it comes to sewers, trying to put together a total package so that when there's growth and potential growth, which there is in Lorain County because of Lake Erie and the amount of water that we have out there, that we're ready to serve not only with sewer lines, but with water lines throughout the entire county, or as much as we can, to get to areas that possibly could be used for commercial development and not necessarily all for just housing development, because we're looking for commercial development to help us offset some of the costs of running government and running the county. So that 6119 meeting, there will be several of us, it's grown in size, but it would be June 27th that we're going to have to continue looking into it and see if that's even a possibility with the players that are out there. That completes my report.
Okay, thank you. You good? Okay. Karen and I were talking earlier. I didn't know if you wanted to have anything to say.
So, I was able to meet with the dog kennel staff and also the rescue groups that help us at our dog kennel when we have overcrowding issues. And here lately, we have had a lot of overcrowding at the dog kennel. The situation with the economy has made it almost impossible for some folks to keep their dogs. So they're either bringing them to the kennel, the APL, or just releasing them. So we are in the process of updating our standard operating procedures manual. It's been quite a few years since anybody's taken a look at that. I anticipate getting that to the board here within the next 30 days. In addition to that, we're doing a cost analysis study to determine what our fees should be at the kennel. Right now, I believe that our fees are high with regards to boarding or taking dogs or adopting dogs. And since we do have an overcrowding problem there, I would like to reduce those costs in order to encourage more folks to take dogs home and give them a forever home. We are also in the preliminary stages of doing an addition at our kennel. The idea is to have a quarantine area, so when our dogs come into the Sallyport, they go into quarantine for their 3-day stay. They get their vaccinations, and then they can go to the main area of the kennel. We're also going to add on an adoption area. So as dogs become available for adoption, they'll be washed and cleaned and prettied up a little bit. And there'll be some nice areas for folks to intermingle with the dogs and see if they can form a relationship and hopefully take a dog home. So these are the future plans for our dog kennel. I anticipate getting things started within the next 30 days with regards to the SOP and the fee schedule. It may take a little longer for us to get our plans ready to go out to bid for any kind of an addition.
And the beauty of that addition is 2 generous donors, close to $1 million.
Absolutely.
That has been donated to the county dog pound.
Right, so that the kennel's cost is only in the design fee.
Right. Okay.
Mr. President?
Yep.
While we have you two, the conversations that keep coming up about the prevailing rate, could we take a peek at whether, I get the impression that about 80% or more of jobs that would qualify for prevailing rate go through the engineer's office, so I've been pretty comfortable with having them supervise their own work. Is there a bulk of work that falls outside the engineer that we should be looking at, who's gonna do prevailing rate on behalf of the county?
Yeah, yes, the engineer's office does do 80% of the construction work here in Lorain County. The remaining portion of that work generally falls under the commissioners, whether we're doing our building renovation projects or new construction, and all those prevailing wage jobs do come to me. In the past, all the county's prevailing wage, I was responsible for all county prevailing wage, including the engineer's office. But as their workload increased and my workload increased, and they had some change in personnel a few years back, I think that they made the decision to allow their consultant to take care of the prevailing wage, which is allowable by ODOT. I think it's the same thing ODOT does as well, correct?
Yeah. It's all project dependent for us. Anybody has any questions, all they have to do is come into our office and ask. We would know every project as to who the prevailing wage coordinator is. I mean, it's just as simple as coming in.
Do you generally sublet that to the engineer or the inspector on the job?
If we have
with yourself and staff?
If we have a construction administrator on the books, so a lot of times on federal projects, we hire construction administrators, someone like Greenman Peterson or K. McCartney and Associates, that overlooks the construction and details the inspection. They also do oversee all the prevailing wage for that work because we are able to get reimbursed for their services 99% of the time.
And who are the construction administrators, who are they responsible to in your office? You, Sean?
It would be myself or Robert Clapper.
And just asking Karen, and if it's gonna be a county job, and that would be listed as to the prevailing wage coordinator would be, if it's us, or we
Right.
would list it.
So in our specification documents, we we include who the prevailing wage coordinator is. For our documents, we include the 4115 paperwork notifying the prospective bidders that it is a prevailing wage job. And we do that in our bid specifications so that they are aware of it when they're putting their bid together.
Same with us.
Thank you.
That it? Okay. Any other questions? You guys good? Okay, thank you, good work. Oh, no. Well, no, but I did like I saw the designs, they look very nice on what you guys are doing at the dog pound, so I appreciate it, so. Okay, thank you. Clerk's report?
I have nothing. Board correspondence.
I move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Any new business? If not, I'll make a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussions in regards to personnel matters and/or hiring or terminating employees. And that's about it. Is that good? Okay. That's my motion.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
10:25. It should be about an hour. But we're not gonna make any decisions out. We're just gonna deal with the personnel
Nope,
summary
it
sheet.
does not.
So,
Promise you do.
oh, thank you for coming in. That was,
You wanna take these in exec? This is just, both folders you have to sign, but that specific is just for you to sign. Okay?
hey, Victor, you can go back to the old way right there. And we're back. I need to apologize. It was actually an hour and 35 minutes, not an hour. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Rydell?
Jeff, wake up.
Oh,
You know, aye.
all right.
Okay, I hate to tell you that, but you know. We just voted on the personnel summary sheet. Is there any other? I don't think there's any other business, so we are adjourned.